when I told people I'm going to Lithuania, they said, "What was it? Why would you go to such a small country?" And I learned about Lithuania, the culture and the history, and that fascinated me. And I could resonate with it more as a Korean, as a person who wanted to challenge other people and didn't want to follow other people's opinion. So I decided to come to Lithuania.
Kokalė rožė ratiliu, kas laukeliu vaikščioja, lioj tūta, lioj tūta, lioj keliu vaikščioja, lioj rožė ratiliu, kas laukeliu vaikščioja, lioj rožė ratiliu, lioj tūta, bernalė, lioj tūta, lioj tūta, lioj tūta, lioj tūta.
We are all nations are ethnocentric, that is, we don't notice our own culture as much, but after having lived in other countries, I probably have a more acute understanding of shortcomings and advantages.
There's so many things I think that I like. One of them is how unique I think it is, and how, I don't know if it's a good thing, but how not that popular it is, like in between other European cultures. So it makes it unique in a way, so I like that it's different, and it's our own thing. So I like how old cultures are connected with the modern cultures, and it like makes us, the modern Lithuanian people, unique in a way. I like the symbols and ethnoculture. I think it's quite unique for us, and I like how it's modernized as well. So that connection between old and new.
Oh, there are so many things that I love about it, and probably especially when I get to know other cultures as well. I love how honest and sincere we are, how deep we can dig in any topic, really.
Things that we cannot see, so it's like built in our lives. Some culture, so like superstitions, people are still superstitious, so things that our grandparents used to believe and used to do, so it's kind of small habits that we have. It's like from generation to generation. In our homes, the fire is holy in a way. We should act with the fire respectfully. So, for example, never spit on it. Where I explained that you should be respectful to fire, because if you will not be respectful, that they can burn your home, for example. So that's kind of strange superstition to have, but it's in our blood in a way.
We have words that cannot be translated into English, and vice versa, of course. But I love languages and teaching languages and learning about them, because we can learn so much about the culture through the language. We don't give a whole lot of credit sometimes to it, but the language is the key, because how we express things, how we see the world is expressed through language. In Lithuania we have a lot of nature in it, nature in the language, ingrained in it. Like even some of our names, Eglė, fir tree, Rasa, dew, morning dew. Both of the names are in my family. And they're also so popular.
Freedom. They love their freedom, and they know where they come from, and they know where they want to go. So if Lithuanians see something that brings danger to their freedom, they're gonna speak up and they're gonna talk about it.
Even though we're so small, yet we are mighty, in our own way, and we are spreading the good, the awesomeness of Lithuania all across the world.
The flag of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania is waving in the wind, celebrating the country's golden era when it was the biggest in Europe. The name Korea comes from Goguryeo dynasty, when the Korean peninsula was the biggest in history. When Lithuania was occupied by the Soviet Union, gained independence, was occupied by Germany during World War II, and again was occupied by the Soviets. Korea was colonized, harassed, and humiliated by Japan, when over 120,000 Lithuanians were deported by the Soviets to Siberia. More than 170,000 Koreans were deported to Central Asia. A lot of them died before reaching the destination. The deported Koreans are called Goryeo people, who have been keeping up the Korean tradition until now. We didn't have autonomy to make decisions for ourselves, but to watch those who were signing the agreement of the ownership of our countries. We were even forced to represent the countries we thought were our enemies. Arvidas Sabonis won a gold medal for the USSR in the 1988 Seoul Olympics, while Ki Jong-sun won a gold medal for Japan in the Berlin Olympics. We were torn apart. We were helpless and powerless to protect ourselves.
Independence movement just started, and one of my uncles brought Lithuanian flag to like the farm that we lived. At that time it was such a brave move because you don't know what will happen after that. So
there was a moment when the repression eased up, and we bounced at that moment. And it was possible for that Baltic Way to happen. That's why it happened. You know, it wouldn't have happened a year before or 2 years before. Vytautas Landsbergis, who was the designer of that resistance at that time, he negotiated with Russians in their own language.
such an inspiring example that you can achieve things without guns or without violence. Sometimes it's so important to say that I do support you, and that could be the start of a great idea or a great thing that can happen. If you ask us 50 years ago, we're just part of like big union that we had no opinion, no big opinion, we couldn't say, and we were kind of limited in what we can and what we do. Like having now the freedom and kind of voice in a way, I think it empowers us as a nation. Even if it might be frightening sometimes to say something against those big powers like China or Russia, but then hopefully that will be for a good change. We influence maybe other small nations. And when we're small and we're many of small nations, then we can make a difference. We don't have to follow the big powers.
We have fought for our independence more than once, and as you say, very hard and with a lot of losses, but also we have developed a lot of wisdom about it, and about our enemies.
The bad things are mainly in maybe mentality of people, that some people still carry kind of sentiments for past, for bad past that we had, like the occupation, like are afraid of new ideas and even like foreigners or new cultures or different cultures. And they see it as a threat for them. So, like other people will come and take their workplaces, for example. So, kind of a fear for a different person. Again, it's not every Lithuanian have that fear, but still you can see people who are.
I like Lithuanian media in comparison with other countries, because it does try to uplift and educate the population, television channels, public service radio channels are very concerned about the well-being of population.
Sometimes the younger people, like our age, try to strive and try to reach financial and comfortable well-being more than they value relationships.
We do expect that the future will be much better than we have now, although we have pretty good life now, and some people say that we live the best life of Lithuania, best times of Lithuania, and we still want to be better, that we will be known and recognized by other European countries as like equal.
Trying to balance our heritage, Catholic heritage, and all the laws and rules that come from there, and as well trying to modernize and also appeal to the younger generation that grew up already free.
This just elected government started talking about reestablishing, or at least warming up the relationships with China, just because of, you know, these economic reasons, and therefore, so I was talking about Vytautas Landsbergis. So his grandson Gabrielius Landsbergis was our foreign minister, and still is, but the government is changing. So he was the one who was at the head of this decision, for which he was severely criticized. So I'm not saying that all Lithuania supported that. They thought him too reckless, you know, thought that Landsbergis, the junior Landsbergis, was too reckless in his decisions. Therefore, I wouldn't say that Lithuania is united on this decision.
Bet tu kiekvieną dieną iš tikrųjų neši atsakomybę už savo valstybę, ir kai mes kalbam apie Lietuvą, man atrodo, mes sakom Lietuvos pilietis, ar ne, bet dažnai praleidžiam tą, kas ant paso užrašyta Lietuvos Respublikos pilietis, o Respublika yra bendras, ir mes pilietinės galios indeksą kažkokį tai matuojam. Tai viena vertus mes ten galim apklausas daryti, kiek ten kas pasirašė peticijų, protestuose dalyvavo ir yra kokios politinės partijos narys ar priklauso nevyriausybinei organizacijai. Aš kartais sakau, nuvažiuoju į miestą, užžiniai daugiabučio laiptinę ir tu matai žmonės pilietiški ar ne, ir sugeba susitvarkyti savo aplinką.
Už ežero ugnis dega, už ežero ugnis dega, krinta byra kibirkštėlės, krinta byra kibirkštėlės, krinta byra kibirkštėlės. Man sirakatai ašarėlės, eisiu geriau.